Hi, welcome to Lessons with Mr. Clark. Today we're going to talk absolute value and opposites. First, though, I want to do some integer problems, understanding negatives to kind of get us where we need to go with this. So the first question here. The table gives a small company's profits in thousands of dollars over 5 months. Use the table to answer the question. So the first month they lost not $29, but $29,000. Whoa, it's bigger than a small company. February, they lost $361,000. March was a good month. They made $276,000. April was another good month, made $179,000. May, nothing. All right, so question A. In which month did the company make the most money? So to make money, it's got to be positive. So the biggest positive is March. In which month did the company lose the most? So the biggest negative, so the furthest down or the furthest to the left. That would be February. Not good, February. Wonder what they do. Part C, what did it mean for the company to have a profit of $0? That means it neither made nor lost money that month. It was neutral. So that's in terms of profit, not revenue. So they still were able to pay their salaries, hopefully. All right, let's look at another question. Social media. All right, let's pretend this is TikTok or snipping chatting. All right, the table below gives the monthly increase in users in thousands over 5 months for a social networking company. Let's say Facebook as old timers. Use the table below to answer the questions. In March, they increased 366,000 new users. April made another 168,000. May, another 320,000. June, they lost people, negative 243,000. And July, negative 26,000. Which month had the biggest change in the number of users? So the biggest change, it could be positive or negative. We're looking for the biggest to the right or to the left, the furthest from zero. That's pretty far from zero. So is that, but that's the farthest from zero, March. Which month had a loss in users? And fewer than 70,000 were lost. Okay, that's interesting. So it was in the negatives, but it's between 0 and negative 70,000. Okay, here they lost, but that's way more than 70,000, so it's July. July's my only one. The way these are boxed like this, it could have more than one right answer. You might have to choose all that apply for that. Well, that's the only one. All right, let's deal with some temperature here. The table gives the temperature in Fahrenheit, good, none of that Celsius nonsense, of 5 cities at 6 a.m. on the same day, so early in the morning. City A was negative 19, City B 23, City C negative 31, City D negative 5, and City E's a nice 59 degrees. I go outside in the morning and drink my coffee if it's above 55, so City E, and I do it before 6 a.m. City E would be the only one I'd be outside in. All right, let's compare the temperature of City B and C using less than, greater than, or equal. So City B's 23, City C's negative 31. Well, 23 is way greater than negative 31, because that's negative. What's the meaning of that inequality? City B's warmer, right? Okay, compare the temperature of City A and City D. City A, negative 19, City D, negative 5. Okay, so if we have 0, and remember, I like to look at number lines vertically. You can do it horizontally if you want, but to me it makes sense looking up and down. So City A is way down here. City D is down here. Cold, but not as cold as where A is. So City A is colder than City D. All right, so that's thinking in terms of negatives and integers. Let's talk about opposites now. What are opposites? Well, opposites are a pair of numbers the same distance from 0 on a number line. Okay, so the opposite of 5. So if we look at our number line here, what else is 5 away from 0? Negative 5 is. They're both the same distance from 0. Five and negative 5. So 3 and negative 3. Any positive and any negative. Pi and negative pi. They're the same distance from 0. Opposites are the same digit with different signs. So we could start with the negative or the positive. Okay, now let's talk about the opposite of the opposite. Okay, so what's the opposite of 5? Negative 5. What's the opposite of that? Positive 5. So opposite of the opposite, you will end up back where you started. So if you start at negative 22, the opposite of the opposite of negative 22 is still negative 22. It's like a double negative. I ain't not gonna do it. All right, next, absolute value. Absolute value is the distance of a number from 0 on a number line. So it's the distance of a number from 0. How far is a number from 0? Okay, well, let's look at our numbers there. How about negative 5? How far is negative 5 from 0? That's right, it's 5 away. How far is 5 from 0? That's right, it's 5. Absolute value is always positive. It never has a negative sign. Okay. And like we just said, opposites always have the same absolute value. That doesn't mean absolute values are always the opposite, but all opposites always have the same absolute value. So the absolute value of negative 5, it's written like this, 2 big lines, is 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. Absolute value is always positive. Opposite value of negative 3.5. It's 3.5. Okay, don't get absolute value and opposites mixed up. The absolute value of 22, how far is 22 from 0? It's just 22. It's not negative 22 away. All right, absolute value always gives you a positive. All right. In conclusion, today we looked at absolute value, we looked at negatives in general, and we talked about opposites. Hope you learned a thing or two. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.